Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to jump into a book that's, well, it's more than a book, right? It's a phenomenon. Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. This story has touched millions of people with a message that's actually pretty simple, but incredibly deep. It's all about chasing your dreams. And it all boils down to one single, powerful idea.
And here it is. This is the big one. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. This single line, it's basically the engine driving the entire story. It's like this promise that gets whispered into the ear of our hero, a young shepherd boy named Santiago, and it's what kicks off an incredible journey. A journey that's going to test, well, everything about him. His courage, his spirit, even what he thinks he knows about how the world works.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. A shepherd's recurring dream. You know, this story doesn't start with some epic hero. It starts with a simple boy and a dream that just won't leave him alone. We find ourselves in the beautiful fields of Andalusia, Spain, and we meet our main character, a young shepherd named Santiago.
So Santiago's life is pretty straightforward. He spends his days traveling the countryside, taking care of his sheep, and he's got his books to keep him company. He loves his freedom, the independence. He actually chose this life over becoming a priest, specifically because he wanted to travel and see the world. It's a peaceful, simple existence, but something's bubbling under the surface. He's being plagued by this recurring dream.
And it's not just any dream, it's super specific. He dreams that a child appears, starts playing with his sheep, and then suddenly, poof, transports him all the way to the Egyptian pyramids, and the child tells him there's a hidden treasure buried right there at the base. So the first time, maybe he brushes it off, but then he has the exact same dream again. And that's when he starts to think, maybe this isn't just a dream. It's like the first little sign, the first omen that something much bigger is out there for him.
Okay, next up, the King's Mysterious Nudge, a chance encounter that's going to change his life forever. So Santiago, he's got this dream rattling around in his head, right? He needs answers. So he heads to the town of Tarifa. And what happens there, just sitting in a town square, is going to completely alter his path.
He meets this mysterious old man who says his name is Melchizedek, the king of Salem. And this king introduces Santiago to one of the book's biggest ideas, the personal legend. Now, what is that? The king explains it's what you've always wanted to accomplish. It's not just some casual wish, it's your real purpose in life. He says that when we're young, we all know what our personal legend is. But as we get older, life kind of gets in the way. We bury it under fear, routine, and what other people expect of us. And this is where he really challenges Santiago. He tells him about what he calls the world's greatest lie. And what is it? It's the idea that at some point, we just lose control of our lives, and everything becomes controlled by fate. He's basically saying, no way. That's a lie we tell ourselves. He's pushing Santiago to see that he has agency, that he can choose his path, instead of just letting things happen to him. It's a huge shift in mindset.
So the king doesn't just give him a pep talk, he gives him actual practical advice, like a little toolkit for his journey. He says, first, follow the omens that God leaves for you. Second, you have to understand that everything in the world is connected, that all things are one. And third, and this is the big one, never stop dreaming and follow your legend all the way to the end. But there's a catch, of course. This advice isn't free. The king asks for 1/10 of Santiago's flock as payment, kind of forcing him to put some skin in the game.
Which brings us to our next part, robbed of everything but hope, because the journey kicks off with a pretty brutal lesson in a brand new place. Santiago, he does it. He makes this huge decision. He sells his entire flock of sheep, everything he has, and hops on a boat to Tangier in Africa. He's ready to start his quest. But things do not go as planned. Not at all.
I mean, let's just stop and think about this for a second. The money from selling his flock, this isn't just a little bit of travel cash. This is his entire past, his entire future security, everything he's ever worked for. He is literally betting his whole life on this dream, on his personal legend. He's all in.
And bam, reality check. The real world hits him, and man, it hits hard. He's in this chaotic, crowded marketplace in Tangier. He can't speak the language, he's totally overwhelmed, and he puts his trust in a young man who says he'll be his guide. But the moment Santiago gets distracted by a beautiful sword in a shop, his new so-called friend is gone, vanished, and with him, every single penny Santiago had. Just like that, he has nothing. Zero. He's stranded in a foreign country, broke and completely alone.
All he has left is the jacket on his back, a book, and the 2 stones, Urim and Thummim, that the old king gave him to help read the omens. I mean, talk about rock bottom. This is his first real, massive test.
And this right here, this is the pivot point. This is so crucial. He's sitting there, totally crushed, and he has a choice to make. He can see himself as a victim, right? Poor me, I was robbed. He could become bitter, give up, and just try to get home. Or he can see himself as an adventurer on a quest for treasure. The situation is the same, but the perspective is totally different. He chooses to be the adventurer, and that one simple mental flip, it changes everything.
So, what's next? Lessons in a crystal shop. Because what looks like a massive, frustrating detour actually turns out to be one of the most important parts of his whole journey. Humbled, sure, but definitely not defeated, Santiago goes looking for work. And he ends up working for this crystal merchant for about a year. And in that time, he completely turns the guy's struggling business around. It starts small. On day 1, he just cleans the crystal in exchange for a meal. But then, a couple of months in, he suggests building a display case outside, and boom, sales go up. Later, he has this brilliant idea to sell tea in the pretty crystal glasses. That revolutionizes the whole shop. By the end of the year, he's earned more than enough money to buy a new flock of sheep, an even bigger one than before. He learned so much here, about business, about patience, and about how you can actually make a difference right where you are. And it's here that he learns a very important word from the crystal merchant, maktub. It's an Arabic word, and the merchant tells him it means it is written. It's this cool concept that kind of blends fate and free will. The idea is that, yeah, some things are destined to happen, but it's still up to us to walk the path and take the actions that get us there. It's not about being passive, it's about participating in what's already written for you. All right, our final section for today, following the desert omens. So after this whole year, Santiago has his pockets full again. He's earned enough cash to go back to Spain and buy a flock of sheep twice as big as the one he sold. I mean, by any normal standard, he's a success. He recovered from disaster and came out ahead. But that dream, his personal legend, it's still there, whispering to him.
And he's standing at a major crossroads. The choice is crystal clear. Path number 1, go back to Spain. Buy 120 sheep, live that familiar, comfortable life. Go back to being the shepherd he used to be. Path number 2, keep going. Push forward to Egypt, face the massive, unknown desert, and continue to chase this treasure. It's the classic dilemma, isn't it? The safe, known life versus the risky, unknown adventure. Safety or destiny. And what does he do? He thinks back to the old king. He remembers the advice, follow the omens. And he has this realization that everything that's happened, even getting robbed, even working in the crystal shop, it wasn't a detour. It was all preparation. It all taught him something he needed for the next leg of the journey. So he makes his choice. He chooses the treasure. He chooses to keep fighting for his personal legend. And with that, he joins a caravan setting out to cross the Great Sahara Desert.
So Santiago's epic journey into the desert is just beginning, really. But the story, even just this first part of it, leaves us with this huge question. A question that sticks with you long after you close the book. As we watch Santiago chase his treasure, the book is really asking us to look inward. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What's the dream that's calling to you? What is your personal legend?